Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Hunter Garage, the Hunter the Reckoning story. We're back on Staten Island and the morning is warm, although a little bit of chill is there in the air, signaling that autumn is already there and the leaves will maybe soon fall from the trees as they are slowly changing the colors to red and orange. You tune in to the news, you tune into the radio to try to hear anything weird, anything unexpected, anything that could maybe suggest you where is Kendra? Where is anyone connected to Kendra? Is there anyone looking for her? Is there something going on in the city that you don't know? There is certainly something going on, but no one seems to be paying attention. One thing is certain. You wake up in a city, in a borough, where Kendra Sandoval is still missing, where Elizabeth Everly is living in a mansion where weird things happen, and you really have no idea what's going on. The desperation of the group, as the very beginning of the session, grows to one. Bing. And as we begin, Goldie, what are you doing this lovely morning?
Well, Goldie probably didn't sleep very well last night. Worried about Kendra, obviously, and also whatever collective vision or feeling that everyone had at the mansion. Mm-hmm. So she decided to get up really early, like 1 a.m. or midnight, and to head to the Staten Island Ferry, go to the Fulton Fish Market in the Bronx, and got some nice clams. And you have to go there really early. They're only open between like 2 and 5. And she headed back, took a little nap, and she felt bad that no one wanted to eat her food the other day. So she wanted to make something from her hometown where she grew up. And she even stopped at one of the bodegas and picked up some fish sauce and some spices. Just not too many, just a few. But she's hoping that when everyone comes over, they'll want to try her food.
That's really nice of you, Goldie. But so you've bought more clams than just for yourself and maybe for some of the other gym mates as usual. You were thinking about the other maybe hunters as you were doing that, right?
Yeah, it really bothered her, and she's not really sure why. Normally she doesn't care what people think, but it bothered her a lot.
So some things probably changed since yesterday. Not only you've met these people better, the ones that you've initially just met on Discord, but also you've been to Elizabeth Everly's mansion. You've seen what was inside. You've tasted that nice pumpkin pie. Is there something that changed in Goldie? And by that, what I mean is, has your desire changed? Something that you want to do immediately in order to slowly approach your ambition, retaining strength?
Has my desire changed? Get in touch with Kendra. No, I think that's still probably foremost. If it would change anything, it would just be tangentially to figure out whatever the hell's going on in that mansion, because something's not right.
I mean, feel free to change that. Desire is something that we want to do more immediately. So if you feel like getting in touch with Kendra right now is impossible, or has been, basically you have to do something in order to get to that step, I would suggest changing it to a one step closer in order for it to be more possible for you to get.
All right.
Okay. Kendra was not forgotten, of course, but investigation of the mansion is a priority for Goldie right now. Goldie, what do you do in order to get what you want, to fulfill that desire? Do you contact other hunters?
Do I contact the cell?
Yes.
Yes. So I go on the Discord, and I send out a message to everyone saying, hey, I know it was kind of a late night. But if we could all meet back at my gym when y'all are awake, that'd be great. I have some food and maybe we can talk.
So you do that after coming back from the ferry. What hour would that be, more or less?
4 or 5 a.m.
4 or 5 a.m. That's very early. All right. We're going to jump now to Miles. And Miles, it's 4 or 5 a.m., more or less. And you get a ping on your phone. It seems like Discord is buzzing. What do you do at this hour?
Well, is it a weekend or weekday?
It's Friday.
This will be coming from Christopher's phone, I assume.
Discord is installed on whichever phone you're using right now. And you're, of course, using Christopher's credentials. So it can be your phone or Christopher's phone, depending on your choice.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, it'll be mine. I'll check it. The message reads what exactly again? I'm sorry.
Asking for everyone to come over to Goldie's garage or Goldie's gym whenever they're awake and feeling ready. She wants to talk and she has some food.
Roughly how long would you say I have before classes begin?
Well, the classes usually begin at 9 a.m., so you do have a few hours until then.
I guess Miles is up.
Perfect.
And very hastily, he'll get ready and head over to the gym.
Before you go there, I assume you are putting on your coat. What is your routine? Some things that you're doing before leaving home?
I'm skipping the coffee today. Well, now I have to... There are two routines in place. There's Miles' routine and now there's Christopher's. So I guess the first thing that he'll do is throw together a bag filled with his own work clothes, like his own identity, and make sure that's secure. And then he'll go through Christopher's routine, make sure everything is on him as it sat on Christopher, at least as best he can. So the coat is very puffy. Make sure the collar is ruffled.
As you stand in front of a mirror and make sure that you look more like Christopher, maybe even more like Christopher than Christopher ever looked, suddenly you feel buzzing in your pockets, something vibrating. And suddenly the lights around... There are no lights on, actually, are they? Maybe there are some lights on, but it seems like everything is consumed in this weird darkness, and you hear the voice coming in from the shadows. A voice that sounds very weirdly like your own, or maybe your brother's. Miles, what do you think you're doing? And everything comes back to normal.
What do I see in the mirror as I look at myself?
You see Christopher. I mean, when you check your face, you make sure that this is you, but for a bit you were sure that you can actually see Christopher. You really did a very good job in trying to look like him.
Almost subconsciously, Miles will take a step back, taking a defensive stance. And as the lights come back, he'll look around, rub his eyes, and shake his head.
And you will be on your way unbothered. Meanwhile, we go to Riot. Riot, what are you doing at 4 a.m. when your phone buzzes with the Discord notification?
Riot definitely hasn't slept yet. They've just been up, thinking, very pensive. And I think their phone going off actually scares them for a bit. Like just a little jostle. And she does check the Discord and leaves a thumbs up.
All right. Yesterday, You've done things that you haven't really often done, let's say. You've went to Toad Hill to visit this really weird mansion of this really weird old woman and hanged with people that aren't your usual crew. Your last desire was to talk to Kendra. Has that desire changed in any way since yesterday?
I think Kendra's still the very much a priority, but going to the mansion and seeing that lady and having a speck of compassion, I think it might shift. I don't know.
So, would you say that your desire now would be to help the lady, actually?
Mhm.
All right. You can change that if you wish. And I'm going to quickly go to our dear Ripley. Ripley, what do you do at 4 a.m. in the morning when your phone buzzes?
Ripley wakes up from the noise. They look over and they read the message, but they don't respond.
Ooh. Why?
They'll be there.
I
They don't
see.
feel it's needed to tell them. They'll be there at about as soon as they leave, which will be about closer to 6.
You say that you were sleeping. Was that a dreamless sleep? Have you had
It was a
any
very
dreams?
restless sleep.
Any nightmares?
No nightmares. Just struggling to sleep.
Does Ripley have any recurring nightmares?
Ripley has plenty of recurring nightmares from their previous job and from the events of their first interaction.
But not last night. Last night was just restless.
Last night was restless.
Yesterday, you were around people that you were maybe forced to hang with, but, well, you stuck together until the end of the night. You left together. Then, finally, as you separated home, you had some time to think. What do you think is your current desire? Is it still to find Kendra? Do you still think like it's immediately possible? Or is there something else that has switched in your thinking?
Yes, so they will be seeking to take that job from Gregory.
Oh, take that job. So by that job, you mean actually solve whatever is happening in Elizabeth Everly Mansion before Gregory does it.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Love it. And now let's go back to Goldie. Goldie, you received a thumbs up from Riot. You received a yes from Christopher. You haven't received anything from Ripley. They haven't responded. But as you prepare your food and the gym and the garage for people to come in, everyone shows up. What do you see, or should I ask first, what do they smell?
Well, at this point, the clam chowder's not ready. She's still shucking the clams and stuff. But what they would smell is fresh bagels, and probably she's cracked a whole bunch of, made some scrambled eggs. She gets bagels delivered from a local bakery.
Let's start with Riot this time. Riot, how are you dressed today?
It's surprisingly just a little toned down, just an overcoat, hashtag sweater weather, just like very outfit of the day, tan khaki, and just beelining straight for the kitchen, especially the smell of bagels.
So, do you grab the bagel once you are there?
Just a quick 2-finger salute and swipe.
Perfect. Miles, or should I say now Christopher, we know how you look like, but what do you do with the bagels and with the smell after you enter the gym?
He'll eye one of the bagels, but he will refrain. Is there coffee?
Goldie, is there coffee?
Of course, there's coffee.
The first thing he'll do is walk to the pot and stop himself and ask the room, may I?
Help yourself, that's what it's there for.
And he'll seek out a mug and pour himself a cup. Won't add anything to it, as per Christopher's custom.
Mm-hmm. Would Miles actually want the bagel, but he's restraining himself because of Christopher, or is it shared?
He's definitely trying to adopt Christopher's preferences, and Christopher would not take the bagel.
But Miles secretly craves the bagel, right?
Yes.
All right, good to know. And finally, Ripley, how are you dressed today?
Ripley is wearing high-rise denim with a black t-shirt that is tucked in and the sleeves rolled up, as well as some combat boots.
And
they have a jacket with them.
Perfect. And what do you do with the bagels and the smell after you enter?
First, they will approach the eggs and eye those. Has anything changed since the last time they tried the bagel or the eggs?
Yes, you'll notice that the eggs have some specks of what looks like spices in them, some sort of seasoning.
Ripley will approach. Will Goldie do anything?
No, Goldie at the moment is shucking clams like she's been doing it all her life.
Ripley will add some more seasoning.
But she won't stop you.
Amazing. Ripley will take these eggs and put them on a bagel and eat it.
Sophisticated.
Fancy.
Well, there is a moment of awkward, or maybe not very awkward silence, as everyone is either munching or drinking. The only sound, except for the shackling of the clams done by Goldie, is the radio that plays in the corner, some local news saying people in Staten Island are complaining about loud howling noises at night. We talk with Richie Baines, a resident of Toad Hill. I heard about coyotes here, but this howl, coyotes, they howl much higher pitched, but this sounded more like wolves. The weather is sunny today, then partly cloudy in the late afternoon. And the news continue. Who is the first to break the silence?
Goldie will. I'll just say, well, where I'm from, we say good morning, so good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry.
Did anyone actually sleep, though?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm not shucking clams because I got my 8 hours.
Do you want some help?
You ever shucked a clam?
No?
Okay. It's, you ever held a really sharp knife?
Yes.
Okay, just don't cut yourself. And she'll, just lean down and pull open a drawer. And there's some very particular knives in there that are for opening shellfish. Very sharp and stubby.
Ripley will take it and give a hand.
Ripley, I want you to roll me something, if that's okay, for this one. If you're trying to cut something with a knife, that's interesting. What the hell would you use in here? I would say dexterity and composure, actually. And here, because of desperation, this is a perfect moment for me to teach you how desperation dice work. So, with these special black dice that you have in here, you can decide whether you want to use them or not. This is your extra something which you may add to your roll in order to get a bigger chance at scoring the win. There is a caveat though. On the desperation dice, you have the exclamation mark, and when it happens in your roll, you have 1 in a 10 chance of this happening when you have only 1 dice, so it's not too big. But when it happens, bad things will happen, possibly bad for you and the cell. So you can decide whether to use desperation dice or not, it's up to you, but it gives you a bit more of an edge to your rolls if you want to roll more.
I feel like we will take that risk.
All right. Ooh, look at this. That's a lot of successes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. And Goldie, you have never seen anyone doing that well when it comes to cutting clams. It seems like Ripley is a professional.
I know we haven't known each other that long, but there's no need to lie to me. If you've been opening shellfish for a while, you can tell me. I won't tell anyone if it's a secret.
I just know knives pretty well.
Really?
Let's just say that with Ripley's demeanor, it sounded kind of creepy. Just leaving it out there.
What does it mean when you say you know knives well?
I've used them before.
On something bigger than a clam?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my god.
Can Goldie tell that Christopher wants a bagel?
That's a very good question. Goldie, I would like you to roll for that, but Miles, I have to ask you here, are you trying to hide openly? Like, are you trying to hide the fact that you want the bagel?
The only food that Miles has looked at since he initially eyed the bagel was Ripley's egg bagel concoction.
All right, but is there an attempt to hide your actual hunger right now? Because if so, I will make you roll the conflict roll.
100%. He's
Okay.
trying not to look at the food.
Miles, I would like you to roll composure plus persuasion for me. And again, you can use a desperation dice if you are really trying to push yourself in order to appear more like Christopher. Then I would recommend to use that dice. With the desperation dice, you will have 6 dice total. Without it, you will have 5. Oh, so close. All right, we have 4 successes. Well, this is going to be the difficulty that Goldie has to beat. Goldie, if you want to truly find out what is going on with Miles, I want you to roll wits and insight. And again, you can use a desperation dice if you want to.
No, it's not that. I'm not that desperate
Okay.
to know. There we go.
Perfect. 2 successes. Unfortunately, you are not able to tell.
Right.
I mean, you can see that Christopher is very much not interested in food. Just looks at whatever Ripley was doing with the sandwich, but that's it. With the bagel, I mean.
And Goldie will just offhandedly say, "So, Christopher, just wanted to let you know the bagel. I'm not going to charge you for the bagels. You feel free to grab one. The one that paparazzi took, it's my favorite. Sun-dried tomato, the best one they got."
Oh, absolutely.
Duly noted.
And I'm still paparazzi?
Well, I do want to apologize. And Goldie's sort of just going to leave Ripley to the shucking because they are clearly better at it and faster at it. I just want to apologize the other day for yelling at you when you were filming in here for
No, I get
Facebook
it,
or
like,
whatever.
privacy and all that. Who uses Facebook?
I don't know. I hear stuff on the news about Facebook. But I'm having a problem with with people and cameras right now, so it just sets me on edge a little bit.
Okay, I understand completely, and I should have asked for permission, should have came with some forms or something. It's fine.
What
Water
kind
under the
of problem?
bridge. That's a good question.
So I'm sure you've noticed that when you drive here, everything's kind of nice, right? It's got the townhouses, it's got the nice little coffee shops. And then when you get here, it's a little bit more run down. It's more, I guess what you call like Section 8 housing, more people who are on the down and outs, who need some help, who really are not benefiting from the gentrification of the area, right?
Sure.
I'm sort of the last holdout for their grand idea of turning this part of Staten Island into a place where all the hoity-toity yuppies can come in and, drive everyone else out and drive all the prices up. So they are kind of harassing me.
How long has this been going on?
I don't know, Outstar, how long do you think Goldie has been holding out with this?
It's more up to you, really, but I would say that it's definitely more than a year by now. They're really trying.
Yeah, about a year, maybe a little longer. I stole a phone. I still got it, and Goldie will just pull it out of another drawer. Stole it off of some asshole yesterday, filming me, and I might have hurt him a little bit. I actually can't remember. I was just so mad.
So there are eyes on this place.
Yeah, assholes from the HOA.
Potentially the police, now that you've stolen something.
Maybe, but I don't know. I got a few friends in there. I don't think. I think if the police were an option, they would have already sent them down here. I don't think they want to deal with me. I wouldn't want to deal with me.
Fair enough. Christopher does not look convinced.
Goldie's doesn't sound that convinced.
And as the thoughts about whether the place is compromised or not travel through your brains, the other thought appears. Kendra, Elizabeth Everly, everything that happened last night. No one really wants to start this topic, but it lingers somewhere in your minds. Is there anyone who brings it up first?
So, are we just gonna glide over the mansion? Are we gonna talk about it? It's a little awkward, if you ask me.
No, we should definitely talk about it. Christopher, how many cats' names did you have to write down? That was so funny.
I need a new notebook.
Sounds about right.
What are we going to do about it?
We need to investigate.
Yeah, how exactly? I'm sorry. I'm just a meathead, I guess is how you'd put it. What are we investigating and how do we do it? What the hell are we doing?
The group that we all saw last night, they have more resources than all of us combined.
True. Who the hell are they?
Professionals.
Ripley aggressively shucks.
Professional what?
Like Men in Black? Or are we talking about supernatural? I need a hint.
The latter, they're in the business.
Oh.
The business of what? Are you saying, Christopher, that there are professional federal organizations for supernatural investigation? Like the FBI, but for ghosts or something?
As far as I can tell, they're a private organization. No government ties that I can find.
Wasn't my question, though. You're implying that there's some sort of underground or some sort of a group that you're aware of that does this on a professional level.
He lets his silence speak for itself.
Ripley, as they discuss it all, what do you feel?
Mad.
Mad.
They are angry talking about this, thinking about Gregory.
Are you trying to hide this from others?
Yes.
I would like you to roll me your composure plus resolve. And you can use desperation dice if you want. Okay, well, you are pretty much doing a poker face and not showing whatever you try to hide. I assume that you are not inserting yourself in that conversation.
Yes.
All right. Well, Goldie, I will allow you to ask some more questions if you want.
Oh, okay. So are you saying that we should just leave them to it and what? Go and check in on the old lady afterwards?
No.
No?
Then I'll circle back to the original question. How do we investigate? What is it that we're supposed to do?
We go back. We observe. We don't have their equipment. But at the very least, we could maybe figure out what's going on and get Miss Everly out of there.
Right, so
She was supposed to leave, yes?
I think she said that she would call us in a couple of days, and that then we would go in there, and she would spend one night. I tried to convince her otherwise, but she just said she'd spend one night away from the house.
That was before our friends showed up.
It was, yeah. So take this as you will. My suggestion is that we go back there, talk to her again, and well, we don't have the equipment of the other people, but we do have a can-do attitude. What do you say?
I'm in.
I'm thinking, maybe we can get her out of the house for a while, little makeover, blah blah blah, something. I can think of something. Have her out. We can really case the place. Turn some things around, maybe find some sigils. I don't know what we're dealing with in particular, and that's the part that fucks me up, honestly. But let's just get there. I got this.
You obviously have like stuff on your phone. You think maybe she might like if we like organized for her to go to like high tea or something?
A cat cafe.
Absolutely.
A cat cafe sounds even better. Do they have those?
Yes, of course. It's New York.
I mean, do you think like we could get her like some sort of special treatment at some place and come there and say, oh, and then just get her out of the house for a few hours?
Goldie.
Yes.
What is your ringtone?
My ring, it's probably the default one.
Okay.
I don't think Goldie would even know how to change it.
Well, it goes off.
Goldie pulls out a several generations behind iPhone and holds it up. Sorry, hang on.
You
Hello?
received a number of Elizabeth Everly yesterday. You exchanged numbers, and it is Elizabeth Everly calling you right now.
She's calling. Should I put it on speaker?
Please.
Okay. So she will answer it and put it on speaker.
Goldie? Is that Goldie?
It's Goldie, sweetheart. How are you?
Hey, I just wanted to call you because because the situation kind of unfolded since yesterday, and so do you remember these people that came here after you left, the gentleman and the lady, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, so I am sorry. I am pretty old, and apparently by inviting them over, because you know, I didn't know if Kendra would come, so I just called a lot of places. Okay, I called I was trying to look for something to solve my situation, and apparently by calling them in, I agreed to something already, and I know that it's a little bit problematic right now, but they bought me a hotel place tomorrow, and I am cleaning the place right now because they say that they have to come in here and check everything, and I cannot be here. And Goldie, listen, I'm calling you because I am not too glad about this situation, like it's about the cats. I don't think they really respect my cats very well.
They do not. I have a sense for these things. I could tell that they do not respect the cats.
Right, and what if they step on them by accident? What if they step on Dolly?
Yeah, with those big shiny shoes, I could totally see that happening, Everly.
I know, and it's just I'm very very concerned about the situation, and also I've cleaned the place, but I've left everything in its own place. I like when everything is in its own place, and I am sure that they're going to move things around. I know it's maybe too much to ask, but if you really want to help out, could you possibly come tomorrow and make sure that they are not doing anything bad in my house? I am sure that they wouldn't be very happy about you being there, but I can leave you a key to the back doors so you could just be around, make sure that they are not going to ruin anything, and just don't get in trouble. How does that sound?
Everly, can you give me 1 second? I have another call. And she's going to quickly put her on hold. How does that sound? How does that sound to everybody else?
Absolutely perfect.
Let's get going.
Well, she said tomorrow. She wants us to go there tomorrow with the people who are going to come to her house.
Can we convince her to do it today?
That's why I'm asking. Do you think I should go, oh yeah, Everly, totally. We'll be there and we'll, make sure they don't step on your cats. Or do we try and get her out now to go check?
Now, I think.
How do we sell that?
Well, that's what I was gonna hand it over to them, to Paparazzi and Ripley, see maybe like Cat Cafe, high tea, something.
Or perhaps reviews online I'm not super involved on the internet, but perhaps they have history with not taking care of people's houses. Animals, dangerous, Can someone sell that?
I don't know. She seems to have signed some sort of contract or agreement with them, and based on the way that they acted yesterday, they're not going to let her get out of it, is my feeling.
Well, we could help her clean and then just put that worm in her ear.
We could.
That's a good idea.
I heard someone in the gym yesterday, Paparazzi, that you are very popular online. Do you think, as a last resort, that you could call up a cat cafe and say, hey, I'm going to promote your place if you let me have a room or something, or have and then we could just send her there?
I mean, it'll cost you. I'm joking.
I gave you a bagel. What more could you possibly want from me? That's a
and
joke.
It's like, she's already on my phone. Finding some cat cafe.
Does anyone want to... Ripley, you seem to be very insistent about getting ahead of the org people, whoever those people were. Do you want to handle the rest of the conversation?
Not really, no. I'm shucking plans for you.
Okay. Well, Christopher, you want to take the wheel?
Not at all. I do think helping her clean angle is a good one.
All right.
Could be our way in today, but tomorrow still is a problem. If they are going to show up, she's going to want us there.
All right, that's the angle then. I will take Everly off speaker and say, hey, Everly, is there any way that you would want us to come over today? That way we could help you clean. We could get to know your cats a little better, so we can make sure that none of them get lost underfoot, so to speak.
Today, but I am cleaning to let them roam. I'm not sure if... Are you going to move my things?
Absolutely not. I am great with a duster.
But don't you think that the other people are going to be very mad if I let you in early? I mean, I guess they would be mad if I let you in tomorrow too. I don't know what to do.
Everly, it's your house. So you didn't sign your house away to them when you made this agreement, did you?
No, the print was very small.
You know, I have heard that in addition to loving to write down names of cats, Christopher is also very good at looking at agreements, legal documents or otherwise. He would love to look over whatever agreement you made.
But they took it with them. I don't have a copy.
Or maybe if you explain to him what it is, he'd be able to figure it out. He is a very smart cookie.
Listen, we can possibly arrange something. But I'm not going to let you come in here before I do some initial cleaning, okay? Yesterday it was a little bit sudden. I do not like sudden guests, okay? So what if you could come for the afternoon tea? Does that sound good? It's 5 p.m. Around 5 p.m. Would that work for you?
Yes, I appreciate an early riser, Everly. So I appreciate that you're calling me so early. And we can definitely be there for tea. And if you like, we might have a surprise for you. I'm not sure.
I don't really like surprises, but okay. 5 p.m. then. Please be there on time. Do not be early, because I need to still clean. Thank you. Bye. And she hangs up.
She's a very interesting person. So, anyone for tea?
Tea it is.
Christopher pinches the bridge of his nose and nods.
Maybe still have the cat cafe on there, Riot.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
Still online.
Okay.
So now, unofficially, maybe without your real knowledge, this is the time when the hunt begins. What does it mean? It means that you are on the investigation, and it means that we are now going to go by the book rules when it comes to rolling the dice. Your desperation, now 1, grows to 2. You have just 1 night in order to find out whatever has happened in the Elizabeth Everly mansion without the orc going into your way and maybe taking over the task. They are coming to the place tomorrow. You have just this 1 day to prepare and do everything you want to do in the mansion, which is not a lot of time. The desperation, as much as we tested the dice before and how it works, is something you can tap into when you are using your creed fields. Every one of you has a different sort of a creed. We have a martial, inquisitive, entrepreneurial, as well as underground. And all of these, as we've mentioned beforehand when we were making your characters, have different creed fields. We are altering the creed field for Goldie. Goldie, you will be able to roll desperation dice and tap into them whenever you will be trying to do something in order to keep the team together, augmenting, building, and helping out your team, so to speak. So this is how we are altering your creed fields. While the other ones, well, you can tap into your desperation when you are doing anything in the way that your creed allows. So we're going to discuss this from role to role. In the meantime, you do have some time. It's still very early morning, and the plan to be there is at 5 p.m. So a whole day of potential preparations. And here we go to Miles. Not Christopher now, right? Or Miles. What do you do after you leave Goldie's gym?
Around what time is it now?
It's about 7:30 a.m.
How long's the commute to the university?
Oh goodness, don't ask me. It's enough for you to be there on time. Maybe 10 minutes late. Let's
Then
assume that.
Time to floor it.
All right. So as you do, remember that you still have your desire, which I haven't asked you about specifically because your desire is something that you can still do today. the desire of researching the animal hair, potential animal hair, you found on Christopher's coat. Is this something that you will try to still do before the classes? Maybe be a little bit early, be a bit late to your classes by going to the laboratory first and ask about the sample, or are you going to wait for your classes?
I'll send a text to the person I left the hair with, asking for an update, and then I'll just go through the usual motions of the day and connect with them after classes.
All right. You will receive a message back which says precisely, "Come see me after classes." So there is a plan to fulfill your desire, which is just right there, just in your reach. And in the meantime, let me ask you about Gene Watkins, the student. Is he in your classes today?
He is.
What kind of a class is this?
This would be Intro to Statistics.
Mm-hmm. Is Gene... Yeah?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please do. I want to hear more about Gene.
He's very much a back row student. He often can be seen using his mobile device, not paying too much attention, although his test scores tend to be better than most. Yet there doesn't seem to be a drive there.
As he sits at the back of a class, today he's not really browsing through his phone or dozing off as he sometimes does. Instead, you can see him almost furiously scribbling in his notebook. Definitely not writing. It seems like he's actually drawing something, or maybe just like leaving a lot of lines in one place. But it seems to be very, very quick, haphazard, almost angry to a point. And if you would approach him, he wouldn't even notice, probably focused on what he was doing in his notebook. What do you do?
Yeah, around the point in the class where they're working on just like a worksheet in class, Miles would sort of walk around and peer over everybody's shoulder. And when he gets to Gene, he'll try to take in what he's doing.
As you peer over Gene's shoulder and you see him holding a pencil in his hands and just making big strokes in his notebook, you can see that the image that he's drawing on a full page, now scribbled in this dark color, it looks like some kind of a silhouette, like a form. It is not very much well defined, it seems to be very blurred at the edges, but it definitely has eyes. And these eyes seem to be looking straight at you from the piece of paper.
I didn't know you were an artist, Gene.
He shakes a bit as he hears your voice. It's like he couldn't hear you coming. He seems shocked. I'm sorry, sir. It just... nightmares.
You saw that in your nightmares.
Yeah, and he closes his notebook rapidly. I'm sorry. I need some more sleep.
You haven't been all here all semester. You need to talk to someone. You know what? My office hours are 1 to 2:30. You ever need to talk?
Yeah. May I use the restroom?
It's a free country.
He stands up, takes the notebook, takes his backpack, and without looking back at you, he storms out of the class. And you don't see him again that day.
Well, Miles will sigh and continue making his rounds. He expected as much.
The day, the work day, is slowly coming to its end without any further events, and it's time to go to the laboratory. Is there short way there? Is there something that you do often, the path from your classes to the laboratory, or is it new to you?
It would probably be new. I would know the lab technician, but I wouldn't frequent it. So this would be a new thing, new path to tread.
Well, as you come inside, as much as you are recognized by some of the staff, it seems like the man who has tested out the specific sample you've given is calling you to a separate room, sort of. Maybe for you two to talk alone. So you are definitely maneuvering on the ground that you are not that much familiar with, but he seems to be very sure in his code, tells you just not to touch anything because he doesn't want anything contaminated, but leads you through the doors to some back room of the laboratory for you to be alone. And as he holds the sample in his hands, he offers it back to you and says, "Where did you find it, if I can ask?"
On a code of family members.
Have your family member been abroad?
Not recently, as far as I'm aware.
Does your family member have dogs? Or I'm sorry if I'm asking a lot of questions, but it's just that the sample was let's just say I have no definite results, and I just want to get a little bit more information for me to give you a proper response to your query. So, a dog, maybe?
They don't own one, but they may have encountered one.
Right, and I assume they haven't been to a forest or a zoo or I don't know. It's kind of weird. Why would you? Maybe it's too many questions. I'm sorry. It seems to be a dog fur. I've made some comparisons, and it does seem to be just like it, but it's much longer. And I'm not sure if I know of any species of dog or canine in general who are in the area around here that would have the same length of their fur. I don't have any samples that I could compare it to, but it seems to be a very large dog. That's my best guess.
A big dog.
Yes, a
Okay.
very big dog. Or it's kind of weird because the long fur dogs, they do seem to have a little bit more of a different structure of their fur, you know. Under the microscope, I could give you some samples to show you, but anyway, just trust me on this. It seems to be more of a structure of a short-haired dog fur, but just much bigger. So that's I know that it doesn't sound very scientific, but I do not have a better conclusion for you. I'm sorry.
So what exactly does this mean?
Your family member. Why are? Can I please ask this question? I'm sorry. I'm just a very curious person by default. Although please do tell me if I'm pressing the wrong buttons in here. But why would you exactly want to take a sample of the fur from your family member's coat? Is that like? What is the investigation about?
More curiosity in myself. We're donating clothes to charity, and as we were cleaning them, we found this fur, and I couldn't place it, and neither could he.
Well, I am not going to be much of a help, except for it looks like a dog fur, just magnified. I compared it to, a hair from my own dog. I have Akita Inu, so it's a pretty, big breed. And that fur, although quite long and thick, it seems to be, triple, like 3 times smaller than the sample you've given me. I don't know.
Alright, then.
Maybe there's some kind of a weird breed that I haven't ever sampled. They are doing these weird breeds of dogs these days. No idea. Maybe you should ask a veterinarian. Maybe they would know.
Do you have any that you recommend?
Not my field, really. No, I'm sorry. I can ask around, though. I do have your phone number,
No, that's
so...
all right.
Okay. Well, Miles, you're not going to get any more information from him. It seems for him to be a big dog-like fur, but he hasn't given you more details. That being said, it does fulfill your desire, at least partially. It's time to find a next step for Miles. What do you want to do in order to learn the truth?
What radio station was playing earlier?
It was just news. Staten Island news.
Any particular company? I'm trying to figure it. Whoever is running the story might have more information on the howling that was mentioned in the broadcast.
That is true. You might want to contact that particular radio station. It's a local one, pretty much one of the most listened to radio stations in the local area. So you can definitely send a message to them, send an email.
Was there any physical report that Miles was given about the hair, or was it all just verbal?
Have you asked about the written report? Because if so, then the lab guy would definitely provide you one, but not today.
Yeah, I'd ask for one, and I'd offer payment of some sort of pastry, probably donuts.
Perfect. He tells you that he's going to be ready with that tomorrow.
And with that, I'll leave him to it.
All right. Desire can be something that you want to still do today. It can be connected to furthering the investigation about the hair. It can be also connected to something to be done with the cell and Everly's mansion, given that's something that you will have to do somewhere around 5 p.m. today. But it's up to you what you want to put in there. I see. Perfect. With that in mind, we're going to... Oh, wait, before we'll finalize you, Miles. Is there something else you do in preparation for 5 p.m. today?
Change back into Christopher's clothes.
Mm.
Actually eat something. Probably something from the vending machines. Nothing fancy.
No more preparations when it comes to the things that you want to take to Everly's mansion. Prepare yourself for the investigation. Just you, your mind, and Christopher's clothes, right?
If at all possible, if there's time, I would like to try to suss out what the van actually does, the device in it.
Mm-hmm. For that, when you're in a van, I would like you to roll intelligence plus... Let's go for intelligence plus investigation this time, because the instruction manual that was there is a little bit unclear about what exactly it does. But with intelligence and investigation roll, you can definitely find out more. And for this roll, I do allow you to use desperation, as you are an inquisitive hunter, and gaining information while on the hunt is the field that is your specialty, basically. So you can add 2 dice to this roll. Your basic pool would be 4 plus 3, that's 7, and you can up it to 9 dice. But you would have to use 2 black ones. That's a huge pool.
Oh no.
All right, so there we go. This is your decision now. You can because your desperation has pushed you too far in order to do whatever you can do. You do have 3 successes. With 3 successes, I will consider this as a small but still a success. So your choice comes in here. You can either push yourself towards the overreach, which means you will succeed on this roll. You will find more information, but possibly you will put yourself in danger because of that. Or you can automatically fail, but this will grant you despair, which means you wouldn't be able to use your dice until you fulfill the redemption of your drive. And the redemption for your curiosity drive would be uncovering new information about your quarry. Only from that point on you will be able to tap into your desperation dice again. So either you are overreaching, which means you are succeeding at the roll, you are winning this roll, but at a cost, or you are giving up. What do you do?
I'll give up for now. There'll be time later. I'm not happy about it.
Of course you're not. Despair is a feeling that no hunter wants to feel. When you browse through the instruction manual, you see no notes left by Christopher. You see no help that was left there somehow in the van for you to use it. You feel like your brother has partially betrayed you. Why was he hiding all this information from you? Why did he dare to leave you with all of this on your minds? You don't feel as curious as you used to. You feel like it was his life. Why are you exactly living his life and trying to fulfill his shoes when he's not there? And you're doing that all for what reason exactly? I'm taking the desperation dice away from you. And with that feeling in mind, you're going to approach the hunt a little bit less motivated. And with that in mind, we're going to move on to Riot. Riot, how do you prepare for tonight's hunt? Or actually, what do you do in general?
I think she's gonna like hang at the gym, not necessarily like being helpful or adding anything, but just you don't want to move too many places. It's gonna be a long afternoon and possibly night, so just gonna be doing some research from her phone. Definitely looking up a cat place, but trying to dig up anything about this business. The professional, supernatural hoodie-doos.
The hoodie-doos. Well, Monster X, as the company is called, you've seen that on their van, so that's the name of the company. It's much of a secret now. But as you've been trying to dig into them, their website is not very much giving you anything except for the general, we help companies reach their full potential. Contact us now to improve your business, yada yada. It seems to be very much corporate, very much aimed for some startups. It's not something that suggests in any way going to old people's places and trying to solve their haunting situation. It's weird. You don't really know what's the connection.
Could I possibly... Oh, what?
Mm-hmm. Well, you do find the cat cafe, though. To keep
fantastic.
But what do you want to do? You wanted to ask something.
I want to see if I can possibly, like, I know this is a little silly, but use my fame and to, like, ask my fans to give some reviews. What have you heard about Monster X? And it not be fan cams.
Are you going on social media, like TikTok or Insta, and you're posting a reel or a TikTok with you asking about Monster X?
Yes. Posting on TikTok and then like sharing to Twitter.
So wait, can you give me an impression of the video that you're recording? You're doing this in Goldie's gym, right? You're recording a video.
I'm pretty sure she'll like, since we've got a little backstory on Goldie's gym, she's gonna like take a couple steps away from the property to whatever like shiny new cafe is there or some like bicycle racks and go, "Hi guys, it's Riot, your favorite. I have a little question. I'm looking for this place. It's this really shoddy website, something about Monster X, and it just doesn't feel right. And I was just hoping if you guys can put out some feelers for me, I would greatly appreciate it." And then blows a kiss.
And
The little ukulele music behind it.
And you post it, right? You post it on social media for everyone to see, not only your circles. It's a basically it's a public TikTok that you publish, right?
Yes. Like having not said a thing in a while, like kind of hiatus and out of nowhere. Hey, can y'all tell me about this?
All right. So the video at the beginning, when you post on TikTok, you have to, refresh your TikTok feed a little bit because you feel like, were you ghost banned or something? There's zero views on that. But after the 5th refresh, you can see the view count rising. It's 100, 289, 300 something, 1,000, 2,000, and the views are slowly piling up as you start to get some first likes and comments. The comments like, "All right, you look amazing today. Why are you so cute? Where'd you get that shirt from?" And stuff like that. One comment finally saying, "That's a weird name for a company, lol." And, the comments grow. You don't get any decent answer at first, but I'm just going to do a little click in the background in there, which is totally not ominous or anything like that. And finally, as the time passes, it's about 15 minutes later, you finish your coffee or whatever you had at the cafe, you do receive a DM from someone, and it's one of your fans, definitely underage, someone just, like a very much of a young TikTok user who writes to you, "I'm sorry for writing. I hope that I don't bother you, but I just wanted to say that I know the company that you were talking about. So my parents used that because we had some weird stuff happening on their vacation home that they had back down south, and they came in and they actually solved their problem. So I think they're actually legit."
And the immediate response is like just the 2 eyes again. And they just reply with that same energy, "OMG, OMG, OMG. Thank you so much. My place was having some creaky, spooky noises, and I definitely wanted to check them out. Thank you so much."
And in reply to that, first you see 3 dots, then they disappear, and then again 3 dots and they disappear, like someone is typing and deleting and typing and deleting. But after about 30 seconds, you get what looks like a very haphazardly written wall of text. "Oh my god, I never thought that you would respond to me. You've been an inspiration to me for ages. I love your content so much. I follow you for such a long time. You're literally the best. I love you, and I really hope I can help you more. What is your favorite band? Because my favorite band recently is..." And they just keep on typing and typing and typing, and it's a very, very long message.
If there isn't anything else to glean from that wall of text, you're just gonna slowly close out of that and get back to the gym.
And you never reply to this DM.
Later. I promise.
You broke someone's heart. Danger 7. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Do you contact the cat cafe?
Oh yeah. Yes. This is a lot more formal. Does they want to do a collaboration, and it's a surprise for an elderly woman, and it would make great content for the both of them to make this Woman's Day.
as you call them, just a regular service worker that picks up, so they are not very receptive at first, but they do forward you to the manager, and after you can hear some breaks as they are browsing the social media, they're asking you for the credentials, but they're very quickly changing the tone from a mildly annoyed to a super inviting and nice, and of course we would love to, absolutely, what is her name, can she come up today, we can definitely give her, a very full cat cafe experience, and we do have a little hotel that is upstairs over the cafe if she wants to stay.
Oh, that is, no pun intended, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please let us know when she will come. We'll have the whole evening prepared. Is that her birthday?
How did you know?
Ah, amazing. We'll have everything prepared. Okay, thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
And that is done. And in the meantime, Goldie, how are your clams and everything? Are they still boiling, or are you doing something else right now?
Well, that depends if Ripley shucked all the rest of the clams. If they did it together or not.
Ripley's totally hanging out with Goldie.
Yeah, so then they would be finishing up with the clams, and they would have moved on to potatoes by now.
Amazing. And any other preparations for the hunt, Goldie, on your part?
On Goldie's part, Goldie probably would have excused herself at one point and just walked around the back of the kitchen to where like the utility closet is, and just did this sort of obsessive thing because, she's thinking about it. She hasn't slept very much, and just sort of checked to see if, Kendra had been online, and maybe shot off a text to, can't think of her name right now, but the one who runs the reception at the center where Kendra works. That's probably it.
What is the message? What's the text?
Heard from Kendra.
Nope. Have you?
No.
And what about you, Ripley? What are your preparations to the visit? Mm-hmm.
First question is, does Ripley still have the pistol from last time?
Well, no one has taken the pistol from you, and if you kept it on yourself, then yes, definitely, you still have it.
Then Ripley will just be hanging out and helping Goldie.
All right. So you're planning to take your pistol with you with ammunition. How many rounds? Just asking for, no purpose in general.
No reason you ask.
No reason.
Probably like 2 clips.
And no other preparations, I assume? You're just making the food, making sure that everyone is going to have a good meal before you venture to Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. And the clock keeps ticking. And a little thing appeared on the table since you've done all of your stuff you need to do today, and that is a very haphazardly drawn area which you've partially seen yesterday, the mansion of Miss Everly. You arrived there on time. It's 5 p.m. Are you again taking 2 cars, or is this time just 1 car driving?
There's room for all of us?
In your van for sure, but would you invite others to join you in there?
Is there room in Goldie's Jeep?
Yes, there is. I mean, depends on Goldie. Goldie, is your Jeep clean? Is there a place for 4 people?
Yeah, it's a 4-seater.
Miles would opt to leave the van at the gym.
So you're not taking the van. Is it because you are a bit bitter about the situation with trying to solve the instruction manual?
Absolutely.
I see. Goldie, you're driving. You end up under Everly's mansion on Toad Hill. Now the question is, do you park the car just like you did yesterday, or do you do some other things?
Yeah, I think Goldie's going to be a little bit more surreptitious I think she's gonna park slightly down the block. Maybe if there's like a woodsy area or an alley. I'm not sure how suburban it is. But so it's not super obvious that they're parking in her driveway.
Oh yeah, obviously you can totally find more foresty area there, which is more secluded from the residential street. So not obvious, but still near, right?
Yeah, close, but just maybe out of sight.
Mm-hmm. I see that. All right. Well, then we end up in this particular sequence that you can see here on the table. The front doors leading to Miss Elizabeth Everly Mansion, and well, it's 5 p.m. Who's the one who does the knocking? Goldie, is that you?
Can be.
Well, you knock or you buzz the doorbell, and of course you can hear the usual clattering at the other side. There's just a moment, just give me a little bit.
As she's saying just a moment, Goldie's just gonna quickly turn around and say, "Do we want her out of the house or not?"
Ripley nods.
Okay, Riot, do you have the cat plan?
Yes, that is under control.
Okay, good. And then she'll just wait, expecting something weird to happen like last time.
Nothing weird happens except for a long wait, because Miss Everly is not letting you in very quickly. There's still some clattering on the other side, there's still some noise, like she's moving something, like she's swiping the floor, and finally, after a long wait, she opens the doors, huffing and puffing, being all red on her face. She seems to be exhausted, honestly. It's not something that she's used to, but she has a broom in her hand. And she looks at you. I'm so sorry. I am still not ready. I feel it will take a little bit more time. Could you perhaps wait a bit, or maybe just come tomorrow?
Everly, you're exhausting yourself. You should let us help you clean. We offered to come and help you clean. We're all very proficient at that.
You see, it's like some of my colleagues, they tell me just to hire a maid and let someone help. But I've been taught by my parents to always do things on my own and myself and prove my own worth. So I've been always, no matter how much my bones hurt these days, no matter how much my spine works these days, I am always cleaning this place on my own, and I haven't been doing that for a while because I haven't had many guests. So I'm sorry. I don't know if I can accept your help. It will. It's just so much stuff to do.
Miss Everly, with all due respect, you've proven your worth. You've made it. Look at this place. We can help.
And she shakes her head and steps back a bit as she's just giving up and letting you in. And as you come in, you do feel that smell of the pumpkin pie just filling the house. It seems like Miss Everly really outdid herself. Not only the place looks way less dusty than yesterday, but also some baking was done. Oh, I left you some pie in the kitchen. If you really want to help, then you can grab a slice. I am not sure, though, if there's anything I need your help with. Please keep that in mind. I do not want anything moved.
We don't want to move anything. But you look. Elizabeth. Can I call you Elizabeth?
Of course, child. You can call me Elle if you want to. That's how my dad used to call me, actually. But yeah, you can call me Elle. Yes.
Elle, have you ever heard of a cat cafe?
Cat cafe? Is that some kind of a show? I haven't watched TV lately. I don't really know.
No. Goldie's sort of just gonna put her arm around Riot and sort of move her to the forefront. No, Riot here has a little surprise for you. Remember I said on the phone we might come with a surprise. Riot?
I am the surprise. If you haven't been to a cat cafe, oh my goodness, it would be the perfect intersection for you. There's treats and bake items and tea and what have you with so many cats. Like the cutest cats.
But do you mean that the tea is in the mugs which have cats on them? Like I have some mugs like that. They're beautiful.
Oh no. There's like actual cats with you in the like establishment.
Oh,
sometimes they're up for adoption, some are live-in, and they're just adorable.
Oh, could I take one of my cats for a trip there? Can I take one of my cats to visit? Maybe she would make some new friends. Dolly, do you want to meet some new friends? And she's turning around. There are 5 cats behind her, and one of them is doing a very loud meow, meow, as response to her, apparently.
You know, and they're going to pick up the one, or attempt to pick up the one they assume is Dolly, and just scoop the cat, and just do a little finagling next to Miss Elizabeth. You both can go. Initially, it's for people, but I'm sure you work really well with other cats, don't you, baby? Just like, as me, Dolly.
You have 0 animal ken. So the cat just does that as it just launches at you as you try to pick it up, and basically scratches your hands, and you start bleeding.
Feisty, we love that. And then she's gonna just like rub the blood off and recompose herself.
I'm sorry, child. I'm sorry. Dolly doesn't seem to like you very much, and I am not sure about this whole cat cafe idea. Do you think that Dolly is going to like it here? Because if she doesn't like you, how does that going to work? Because I don't want no trouble. I don't want Dolly to get in trouble. Dolly's a little troublesome kid, but she's my kid.
The gift, the whole experience is for you, Miss L. I was just suggesting that maybe Dolly could go with you. But I have something arranged, private room, top service, all for you because we think you deserve it.
And I'm sure Riot has connections. I am sure that they would let you bring a handful of cats if you wanted.
Absolutely. There's even a hotel with the cafe, so if you want to spend the night, get acquainted, even make some new friends, we can make that happen for you.
Ripley, do you say anything?
Ripley just nods in agreement with the others and says, yeah, you've been through a lot. A little break is always worth it.
Miles, do you say anything?
No, Miles just looks encouraging.
All right. I'm going to count that as trying to help. Riot, I do want you to roll me manipulation plus persuasion in this roll. This is 6, or subterfuge, actually. In this particular way, you're trying to be sneaky in here. You definitely did some shenanigans in order to get there, so I do allow you to use your desperation dice, which would be 2 additional dice if you want to, as your crit field is stealth and subterfuge in service of the hunt, and this specifically is subterfuge. So you can use the additional dice, and on top of that, you can use another dice in order to represent the cooperation. Your friends are not helping you too much, but they're definitely trying to help. So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 basic dice, and you can add 2 more for 9 dice total if you want to use 2 black ones.
I'm going to take my luck with the 7.
Okay. Ooh. Well, it's just 2 successes.
There's willpower.
There is willpower, so I will allow you. By the way, your willpower is resetted right now, so you have full points of willpower. You can make sure that you erase any of the superficial willpower damage you received on the last session. You can use your willpower to reroll 3 of your dice if you want to.
Absolutely.
Okay, so make sure to note this on your sheet, and you can reroll 3 failures.
Oh.
I am very, I am very sorry, Riot, but this is not really a success that you were looking for, and Elizabeth seems to be utterly unconvinced, especially as it seems like Dolly is telling her something. Dolly, now on the hands of Elizabeth Everly, is doing a very rapid. Really doesn't want you here. Sure, if it's a good idea. I don't go to places anymore. My bones are not as they used to be. And except for that, I'm very, very exhausted already. So I don't know.
Well, if you don't want to go anywhere, maybe you and I could sit down. You know, we're old ladies. We can't be running around all over the place. You and I sit down and let these young kids do a little dusting, see if anything. They won't touch anything. They won't move nothing. See if anything else needs to be spick and spanned. How does that sound? We'll have some tea, some pumpkin pie.
Sounds agreeable, and she finally says after nodding and saying that Dolly is not really protesting against that idea. But I do insist for all of you to get a slice of a pumpkin pie before you start doing anything. And please, do not move anything. The place is where it is, not only because I like it there, but also my cats like it there. So if you will move their favorite scratching paws, they're going to be very angry at me, okay?
They wouldn't. I'm sure they'd love to get some pumpkin pie after, and Goldie will take the broom gingerly from her and sort of just like shove it over to Christopher. But you know, we'll get everything ready, and they'll just do a sweep, make sure nothing needs to be cleaned, and then they'll come back and have pumpkin pie with us. How does that sound?
That sounds agreeable. That's fine. And
Goldie is hoping that the rest of them get what she's trying to do.
well, Goldie, you lead Miss Everly, or you lead each other actually towards the living room, the same place, or actually it's the fireplace room where you sat last time. It's next to the kitchen, which there are doors leading to the kitchen through which she was bringing the pie yesterday. So you do remember this place. This is the exactly same place where you had the conversation yesterday. And so she does now. She seems to be very nervous. Every now and then she tries to like stand up and follow everyone and make sure they're not doing anything she wouldn't approve of. But I assume that you're stopping her on the way.
Yeah, Goldie is very much keeping one eye on her and always, you know, making sure that she stays seated and is asking her questions and, you know, just trying to keep her as distracted as possible. So at least, since they couldn't get her out of the house, that at least she could, that the rest of the cell can do some sort of investigation in the very short time I'm sure that we have.
All right. Who did you give the broom to?
Christopher.
Christopher, what do you do?
I guess it's time to pretend to sweep.
Okay, so you are hanging around where Miss Everly and Goldie are right now, or do you venture while sweeping deeper into the mansion?
Well, once those two are gone, Christopher will say, okay, we need to be quick, but don't split up no more than a room apart. We don't know what's going on here.
Understood.
It's about 5:30 p.m. right now. It's still sunny outside, it's still bright, and the place doesn't look as menacing and scary as it looked yesterday. What do you do next, Miles? Or Christopher?
Let's run to the nearest room opposite of Goldie and Elle.
All right, we'll leave you right there. In the meantime, Riot, what do you do?
Riot's gonna hang back with Ripley.
Mm-hmm. Ripley, where do you lead Riot?
We are going to this room.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, let's start with Miles. Miles, you end up in what seems to be a real living room. So this is the place where there is a TV, there is a big couch, there are some armchairs, not that many cabinets except for one wooden with some memorabilia on it. Some pictures on the walls, photos. It seems to be all very old and run down. The TV is actually a CRT one, which probably would make horrible sounds once you turn it on. But yeah, in general, it just seems to be a very old and random living room.
The lights work.
Yes, if you switch on the lights, there's a lamp in the middle of the ceiling, and there's also one standing lamp that is next to the couch. You can flip both of them if you want to. The place is a little bit dark. The windows are not letting too much light in, and there's also pretty heavy curtains, which seem like they do need some washing. But in general, you can see well without the lights on, but with the lights on, you can definitely see all the details of the room. It needs some fixing up, for sure.
Christopher will, after turning on the lights, look at the floor, and if it actually needs sweeping, he'll sort of sigh to himself and start sweeping a bit.
It seems like it was swept before. There's no dust that is just running around the floor or anything that seems to be able to be picked up by the broom, but the floors desperately need deep cleaning, and so does the rug, which seems to just... when you step on it, it seems like dust comes up and falls on the ground, requiring you to sweep again.
There's no taking care of that right now. I'll examine the shelves, sort of listen, see if I can hear anything weird. Keep an eye out for cats.
Oh, definitely there are some of them. Two of them are sleeping on the couch right now. One is taking the armchair. There's very little space to sit down if you weren't to move any of the cats. You are being followed by one of them for sure, just like checking every step that you do. And if you check what is in the cabinets, it just seems to be some family photos that are on the top level, some books, some photo albums, definitely things that seem to be just a very nostalgic collection of things that Elizabeth is keeping. Are you interested in anything in particular?
No, really just taking stock.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything that really stands out from what an old person could have in their cabinets. Just the photos, photo albums, a game of chess if you want to play one. Seems very dusty, seems like it wasn't used for a while. And yeah, the photos showcase Elizabeth younger, fresher. You can definitely see like that they were taken a while ago. They are black and white, and there is they usually portray her with an older man as they stand together. It doesn't seem to be a romantic relationship. It seems more like a dad figure, maybe an uncle.
How is there like an age span where this figure is present?
Well, all the pictures seem to be black and white. And there are no modern pictures around. You cannot see any. If you look closer, you can actually do you actually browse through her stuff? Do you open the photo albums?
Probably not.
Well, then all the pictures on the display are black and white, and they seem to be from when Elizabeth was much younger. She has long hair, a youthful face without a sign of wrinkles.
And if there's not much else in here, Christopher will move on.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Ripley and Riots, you end up in what looks to be a mini library. There's a lot of books in there, and they all seem to be dusty and not used for a while. It seems like Miss Everly doesn't really browse through her own collection that often.
Can Ripley look at the titles?
Yes, of course. They do seem to be a lot of biographies, some works of fiction. It seems like there is a particular shelf full of historical books and things that are more of a literature of fact. But the ones that seem to be a little bit less dusty, a little bit more used, that seems to be definitely fiction. So the shelf nearest to the doors has fiction. A little bit more further away, you have more historical literature of fact biographies. Nothing really stands out as something that Ripley would recognize as a thing of a cult, except of course of books like Faust or Master and Margarita, but there's nothing that's would describe, the things of the occult in a more less fictional way, let's say.
Ripley shrugs to Riot. I don't know.
Jeez. Maybe there's a secret passage. I'm kidding. And like her hands just grazing the dust off different spines. Not necessarily looking for a certain book or an actual library bookshelf door or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking.
Is any of you more snoopy? Actually, like, would you try to rummage for the books and actually try to find something? Or are you trying to be good guests in here and not move the stuff as Elizabeth really asked you to?
I'll turn the switch and start snooping. Like, after it gets
Yeah.
boring, start pulling things.
That
Okay.
sounds like a risk. Ripley's in.
Ripley's in. So you're searching through the rooms that you are in. Miles, do you keep snooping in yours or are you moving?
I'll move.
Okay, so where do you move?
I assume the door of the room that they're in is still open. So if so, I'll go to the room opposite of them.
Here. All right. Well, the doors in here are open, so if you would to rummage in here, Miss Everly and Elizabeth and Goldie would see you. This is the kitchen. So everything looks like a pumpkin pie was being made in here. There's a smell.
Can I
which is-
interject with something?
Of course.
If Goldie sees Christopher in there, Goldie would I don't know, do whatever she could to keep her attention, Everly's attention on her.
Okay. Well, I will leave you here for a bit, Miles. And now, Riot and Ripley. As you're looking for the place, there really doesn't seem to be anything in there. Do you decide to split or do you stay there together in order to really ransack the place full?
Ripley kind of wants to check the upstairs. So they kind of look at Riot and are like, do you really think there's a secret passage?
I feel like if there was, hypothetically speaking, we would have found it by now. Like pacing wise. Just books. Could have been PDFs by now. Waste of a room.
Yeah, waste of our time. Let's put everything back and maybe check out upstairs. Where did Miles go?
I have no idea.
All right. You put everything back, and Ripley, you're done first with your section, and you plan to head upstairs. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. You lead the way as Riot is cleaning up the last things that they have put around. And Riot, as you change the position of one of the books on the shelf, it seems like something metal drops from the shelf and bounces from the floor. When you look at it just briefly, you can assume it looks a bit like a marble. And the marble just rolls to the floor, and it seems to be like really moving fast, and it moves outside of the doors. It just like you really put some force into that, Riot. Like the marble is moving, or whatever that item fell from the shelf is moving really fast outside of the room.
And she's chasing like shit.
Okay, so you move past Ripley, who is outside. Ripley, as you stand outside of the doors, you can hear Riot screaming shit behind, or actually like hush whispering shit, and you can hear a metal object rolling on the floor and falling downstairs next to you. It seemed to be just some small metal object.
Ripley's gonna follow that.
No questions asked.
Let's follow it.
All right. So you both go down to the basement. And in the meantime, Riot, were you loud when you did the shits? Were you hushed?
Oh, it was under their breath, like shit.
Miles, you've heard nothing. You are going to the kitchen, Goldie strategically making sure that Elizabeth is not looking at you. They've moved towards this area in here, where I'm pointing at my cursor. There's a little shelf in there where Goldie, you've noticed some photos. How do you want to attract Miss Everly in there?
Goldie would go, "Oh, Elle, I need the absolute history. Lay it down, date by date, of all of these photos. Is this you? You are gorgeous."
You can notice that on most of the pictures, it's either young Everly alone. There is one photo with the baby Everly with her parents, both probably her parents, to like a male figure and a female figure by her side, and then multiple pictures in which there's just Miss Everly and a man, older man who looks like the same male figure from the original baby picture, but just slightly older.
What I would say, please, Elle, were you a model? You have to tell me. I need your whole life story. I got to hear it right now.
Oh no, my father always used to say that I am his little model, but no, I never did anything like that. I was always very shy, you know. It was not easy for me to ever socialize with others, I could say.
Well, that is a shame, because you absolute doll. When were you born, Elle? I was born in 1967.
Oh, you're so young then. Oh, I was born much before you. I'm not going to give you an actual date, because you're going to think of me as some kind of an old hag. But
I would never.
It's been a while, Sugar. It's been a while. The world was completely different back then. And she weaves a story, which is extremely long and very much the times that used to be. And in the meantime,
is it very distracting?
No, I mean, you definitely distracted her.
That's what I mean.
Yes, it is basically Goldie. You are really trying yourself hard to keep yourself awake through her whole story that she's trying to say, but you're succeeding in distracting Elizabeth. So
awesome.
Miles. It's just the kitchen. It was the pumpkin pie was definitely made in here. The smell is overwhelming, and it does look to be a little bit run down. There are some shelves with the spices, sugar, salt, a fridge which seen better days, but it's one of these fridges that will never break, basically, because it's from the times where things that were produced, they never break. Yeah, it's an old woman's kitchen. What do you do?
I checked the door of the fridge first.
You open the fridge. Mm-hmm.
Anything on the outside, like pinned to it with magnets, or?
There are some magnets that looks like a very old, city memorabilia, basically souvenirs. So there is New York City, there's also New Orleans, but they seem to be very old, and they need some cleaning up. Not one of these, modern magnets with like thousands of colors. There seem to be more like either made of metal or just the colors are faded from the print.
And then I'll I'll peer inside. I'll crack it so as not to have the light just bathe the entire room. Assuming the light even works.
The light does work, yes, and it doesn't illuminate the kitchen fully. The spice racks and the upper shelf still seem to be in the shade, but you have a very clear view on the cabinets right now and the table that was used earlier today probably to do some baking, as there's still some leftover flour on it. Flour. How do you pronounce it? Flour?
Flour.
Flour. There we go.
If there's nothing out of the ordinary inside the fridge, I'll move on to the cabinets. Maybe crack open a drawer or two.
As you open one of the drawers, there's cutlery in there. How deep do you snip?
I don't take anything out. I more so just sort of open everything up and peer inside.
When you open the cutlery drawer, you can feel vibration in your pocket.
I'll pull out what I presume to be the marble.
Mm-hmm. It vibrates slightly when you push it towards the drawer. And inside you can see, well, there's a old plastic container where you have spoons, knives, and forks, and little spoons. Nothing out of the ordinary, really, except for that.
I'll put the marble.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
At least at the first sight, there's nothing out of ordinary.
I'll run the marble over each of the different compartments for the pieces of cutlery.
It seems like it vibrates the most on the edge of the drawer where the plastic container ends.
I will very quietly take out the tray, set it on the counter, and feel around for a false bottom or back.
Well, as you examine the drawer closely, you see that the plastic container lifts. You can put it up a little bit. And at first, you jump back a little bit because there's a movement underneath, and it's a cockroach that quickly walks away from the light and hurries outside the drawer. But the second thing that you see in there is a marble that looks weirdly similar to the one you have in your hand.
I'll put my marble closer to it.
And we'll leave you at that. We're going back to the basement, where Ripley and Riot are. Ripley, I assume you're the one who went down first, as you were closer to the stairs, right?
Yes.
Well, as you walk down, there's pitch darkness in there. It's so dark. And you can definitely, when you are stepping down on the stairs, you can hear the sound of your footsteps being muffled in the way like there is no open space in front of you.
Oh. Hey, Riot, can you turn on your flashlight?
Already ahead of you, and just clicks the cell phone flashlight.
Well, you do just that, and it seems like... at first you almost jump back, because there's something right in front of you. But it turns out it's just some furniture. Old cabinets, old corner cabinets, tables, chairs put on top of each other. A whole basement filled with furniture, with the entrance completely, just closed off to anyone trying to walk in.
Can Ripley climb in?
There is a small space, because basically what is right in front of you right now, there's a table which like it's a small like bedside table, and then next to it there's a cabinet, and there's like things on top. You could try to squeeze below the bedside table, but there's like a really small gap in there, and it's dirty as hell. The floor is dirty. Everything seems to be just very dusty in there, and there's for sure a lot of spiders around.
Ripley looks at Riot. What do you think?
I mean, we're already here. Better to ask for forgiveness and permission, blah, blah, blah.
I'll do it.
All right.
And I'll watch the opening.
So Riot, you stay like basically on the stairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Ripley, you squeeze past everything and you go deeper into the darkness. Right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Ripley, you squeeze down below the what looks like a bedside table. It is not easy, but although you are quite long, you are also quite thin, so you are able to, after some maneuvering, squeeze past the wooden legs. There's some movement. You're afraid at many times that the furniture which is around you is going to just topple over you, and it doesn't seem very safe, but you are successful in moving through the labyrinth of the furniture. I assume trying to find some opening, right?
Yes.
All right. So you move deeply into the shadows. And as you do, you finally find almost some kind of a light, but it seems to be a blue light. It seems to be a light of the moon shining through the window. Maybe a lot of time has passed, but it seems like there's night already. And as you squeeze through the last sort of like in between the chairs, you move into the opening, which looks like a room. It's quite neatly decorated. It doesn't seem to be that run down and that dirty as what was on the upper floor. There's a small decorated sofa, a little chair on the sides, a little cabinet, and the coffee table. And on the coffee table, there is a newspaper, which seems to be like a focal point of this room. There's no really other items in there except for this newspaper.
Can I read this newspaper?
Of course. Would you mind taking an item out of your blue bag that is in front of you and check it out? There we go.
You want me to read it out loud?
Yes, please.
Staten Island Daily presents Haunted House, Ghosts in Toad Hill. Was paranormal activity truly spotted in the mansion belonging to Elizabeth Everly? 4 kids, led by the brave leaders Marco and Grace, were sent to investigate the mystery.
I told you, I do not really like coming in here. And you pull your eyes up and you see Grace. The young Grace. The Grace you remember from back when you visited the allegedly haunted mansion for the first time. Just a kid. I really don't like coming to places like this. Why do I always agree to your stupid ideas?
Grace?
What do you mean, Grace? Yes, Grace, we are here now and we have to get out somehow. Or do you want to stay here all night and probably risk our freaking lives to do whatever shit you want to do?
I don't understand.
And as she continues talking to you, you see her slowly growing older. Her face becomes more womanly, her hair grows, her features become more mature. Her face still angry, looking at you, blaming you for why did you put her in here? Why did you take her to this place? She's afraid of ghosts, she's afraid of these places. And she starts to walk towards you, telling you that you have to go out, You have to leave this place immediately.
Can Ripley step forward and hug Grace?
Well, you can try to walk towards each other for sure. So you try to walk towards Grace, opening your arms to hug her, right?
Yes.
All right. I don't know if I can trust you. You always put me in trouble. You put me in danger. I don't want to be there. I want to go home. And as you hear that, you can hear metal clacking on the floor. It's like some small metal things are falling on the floor. And before you see what exactly it is, you can see it climbing on Grace. Small metal marbles rolling over her body, defying gravity as they climb upwards toward her ears, toward her nostrils, towards her mouth, towards her eyes, trying to get inside of her, hurting her, making her bleed, making her scream.
Can Ripley attempt to pull them away?
You can, and as you try to touch them, she cries, she withers, she tries to push you away, she tries to push everything away. The marble at your touch goes away, flies away, stands in the middle of the air, and hits Grace back, hurting her again. And you can see more marbles around her in somewhat what looks like a circle surrounding her and waiting for a bit, vibrating in the air before they smash on her. There's more marbles coming, and she just, please make it stop, please make it stop.
I don't know what to do. Ripley just starts screaming.
Start screaming. All right. We're going to leave it at that for a bit. And we're coming back to Riot. Riot, you're on top of the stairs. You don't hear nothing in there. There's silence. What you hear comes from behind you. Metal clacking as something falls on the floor, something metal behind you, and rolls back to the library where you were in before. Do you follow?
Since they don't hear anything, they're gonna follow it. Oh.
All right, so you go back in here. And as you walk inside, you realize you're not alone. The places are a little bit different now. The books are still where you left them, but there's no light. The soft blue light shines from the windows. It's like it's the middle of the night and moon is softly shining inside, leaving nothing but just the blue tint around. And there are two figures in the middle of the room, two charming, beautiful figures, male, one of them looking like someone you very much know, the other one like someone you might have seen in the presence of the other. The ones with fangs, the ones who drink blood. And they look at you like the party has started. Oh, it's so good to see you here. We've been waiting for you. And as you see their hands, they're holding little marbles, little metal marbles in between their fingers. And they walk towards you and looking at each other for a bit, look back at you. What do you think, where we should start? And one of the guys, the one that you know very well, licks the little ball and tries to put it on your neck, on your wrist, on the back, on the front, on your head, on your leg. What do you do?
It depends on how soon they can react, because if so...
At first you're very stunned, you let them approach you, but then you can start reacting as they start to try to touch you, try to get near you.
Yeah, they're gonna try to book it. Like, unfortunately turn their back and run away from them.
Okay, as you try to run, the doors close violently in front of you with a huge bam, and they laugh. You can hear the laugh behind you. You thought you were going to escape. Oh, don't worry, little one. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be pure pleasure, I promise.
I'm gonna say this as calmly and politely as possible. Stay the fuck away from me.
Don't you want to have some fun with us? We came a long way. It's not easy to
bet
find
you did, and I bet the beat is sick, and I want to take it. No, just no. You can't be real. This can't be happening. They're they're looking for that cat scratch.
The cat scratch. Well, it is there. It is bloody. And the blood is still, like, there. And the bloodsucker in front of you smiles. Oh, we see that you've prepared some appetizer. And he leans towards you with this little marble just touching your hand slightly. You can feel the cold metal on your skin, almost like the fangs that you felt on it before.
I think they're gonna scratch at this at the wound. Like maybe some pain will pull them out of this. I think they're like hallucinating.
Okay, so but their hand is currently on your wound with the marble delicately just rubbing it. So do you push his hand away?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I see that. I would like a roll from you, if that's possible. You're really trying to keep your cool in here, to keep doing this. Can I get composure plus resolve? This is not going to be an easy roll. But I will allow you to do... to tap into your desperation dice if you want to. I know it's not a typical subterfuge roll, but you are used to using subterfuge in front of these men. You are used to trying to just, do your best and be quickly done with it, and then plan the revenge after you're back home. So let's see if this is going to work for you.
Oh boy, big money, no whammies.
Look at you, it's a critical. We have two tens, basically, two fiery ones. So that gives you plus additional 2 successes, of total 6 successes on this roll, which is a lot. Not only you are able to push his hand away, but his hand seems to lose its balance and let the marble fall on the floor. And as it falls from his hand, making a big arc in the air and dropping, it crashes on the ground and breaks into pieces. Like it was not made of metal, but of glass. It seems like it completely shatters, and the vampire, or what looks like a vampire in front of you, just looks at you in fear and disappears. The other one is still there, holding his marble in his hand, but he looks scared. He looks down on the floor and at you, holding the marble tight in his hand. We're going to stop in here, and we're going to go to Goldie. Goldie, as you look at the photos and Elizabeth is talking and talking and talking, you find it extremely hard not to doze off, because it's really boring. it's a lot. There's a lot of talking being done, and you look at these photos, you look closely at things, at the family pictures of Elizabeth, and it's like you blink suddenly and it's dark. The lights are not on. It's like Elizabeth forgot to turn them on because the story was too long. And you turn around and you do not see Elizabeth. She's not there. Even more, you do not see the same room as you've seen before. Instead of that, you see what looks like a gym. and a boxing rink in the middle.
Goldie would probably just be very stunned about this, very confused.
It's a place that you don't recognize as particular boxing rink, but you do feel like at home in here, except for the weird circumstances. If you try to touch the rope on the sides, it feels like rope. If you try to step into the ring, it feels just like a ring.
Goldie would probably just, out of a place in her mind where she's trying to logic this away, just start going, Al? Anybody?
There's no L here, but I'm here. You can hear a familiar voice. It's Vicky. Vicky stands on the other side of the ring, looking at you, challenging you with her sight. What, fear got you?
You know you can't take me, kid.
Really? Well, we can try. Come on here. Let's have a little sparring, as we used to in the old good days.
Goldie will get into the ring.
Well, I see that you still have it in you, don't you, Goldie? When was the last time you fought, for real?
Or you were born.
Let's bring it on. She says,
I'm not gonna fight you, Vicky. I don't know what's going on.
well, you may not want to fight me, but I want to fight you, she says. And she seems angry. She seems to be buzzed, just seething as she starts pacing around you with her pose, the one that you taught her.
Good form, kid.
Come on! Come on, make a shot. Prove me you still got it. Do you still have it, Goldie? Do you? Are you old and withering like an old branch on a willow tree?
Is Gold... are they barehanded?
No, they. If you look at their hands, you can see that they have the bandages around them, just ready to fight.
So they're wrapped. Is Goldie barehanded?
Yes, Goldie is barehanded.
With that comment, Goldie will probably take a swing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, as you try to take a swing, Vicky is very fast. Vicky just jumps back. But another thing that happens is that you can hear some metal rolling on the ring below your feet. And as you look down, if you dare to look down, it seems to be just small metal marbles defying gravity a little bit by going just straight to your feet. And as you make steps left and right, you feel like you might be slipping on them. You feel like you lose your ground. It's very easy to fall with all of these metal marbles following your feet wherever you go. Can't get your tongue, Goldie? Come on!
What the fuck is happening?
Come on! Are you trying to fight? You're
With
trying to make
metal
a step.
balls with metal marbles rolling around? No, Goldie's really freaking out now.
Well, Vicky is approaching you and trying to take a swing.
I'm not sure if it'll apply here. Goldie has a specialty for dodging.
Oh, perfect! That's amazing. So let's do dexterity plus brawl and add the specialty of dodging. This is not in your crit field, unfortunately, so I'm not going to let you use your desperation dice, but it is still a lot of dice. It's 1, 2, 7 dice. Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh, okay.
Good luck.
Oh, no, wait, I can't use the desperation dice. Get rid of this. 5, 6, 7. Goldie will use a willpower.
Okay.
Oops.
Ooh, look at this.
Ooh,
Perfect.
5 successes.
5 successes. Well, you are able to dodge in a pretty nice fashion. And not only that, but as you dodge, you are able to make this sort of like a bit of like a 90 degrees movement where you face Vicky sideways, and your leg lands on one of the marbles with a big force because you really try to put a lot into this dodge. As you apply the force to the marble instead of just slipping on it or, just letting it fall under your feet, you can feel it crackling below your feet. You can feel it shattering, just like it would be a little marble of glass. And as it shatters, Vicky makes a sound of pain. You bitch! And she tries to swing back at you.
Goldie's not gonna hit her. That first reaction notwithstanding. But it's gonna try and dodge again.
All right.
We're gonna continue dodging.
Continue dodging. All right, we're going to leave it at that. Meanwhile, Miles, you tried to touch one of the marble that you found with the other marble, the one that you have. And it's like you were transformed into a different dimension in some sort of a way. You're not really sure what happened. It seems to be a very bit of a haze, but you are standing in the same alley in which you found Christopher's body.
Oh.
It's his stuff. It's the things you found. It's the coat, and everything lies in a bit of a distance from each other. So you see, at the end of the alley, this is where you found the body. What do you feel?
Anger, first and foremost. Very quickly flanked by sadness. There's less fear than even Miles would have expected.
Do you walk forward towards the place where you found remains of Christopher?
Well, first he'll look around and try to take inventory. He'll try to remember exactly the way things were in that alley and see if they match up.
Everything matches up except for when you turn around, there's just pitch darkness. It doesn't seem like there's anything. There's no place to back from, basically. You can't move back in here. You can only move forward. That's the only thing you know.
Do I still have my marble?
You do. It is in your pocket. It vibrates slightly in your hand.
Walk forward.
As you take the first step, and then second, your footsteps slowly making a steady rhythm. Suddenly you hear what seems to be singing. It sounds like some very eerie, spooky singing from the background, and you can discern the words while you cannot discern the singers. There doesn't seem to be anyone there in the alley. Christopher and Christopher sitting in a tree. They both want to stay, but the others tell them, leave.
Show yourself.
You can hear a quiet, eerie chuckle. And it doesn't seem to come from one particular place. It almost seems like it's coming from inside of your head. It's a very weird feeling. It's echoes like you had a stereo headphones on your head, and it bounces from left to right. Christopher and Christopher sitting in a tree. They both want something badly, but the others tell them quit.
What do I want?
At the end of the alley, where you know that there are Christopher's remains in there, you can see a shadow growing. A shadow that looks like a dog. Giant dog. Bigger dog. Is that a werewolf? You can hear the howl. And then you hear the voice behind you. Miles.
Is it a familiar voice?
It is your voice, or is it Christopher's voice?
I won't take my eyes off the shadow figure, but I will take a very pointed step to the side to try to get whoever is behind me into view.
With the very corner of your eye, you can see a silhouette. A silhouette which is the same height as yours. A silhouette which seems to be in a similar clothes to yours. And a voice, a very similar voice, and a very similar words that you've heard before. Miles, what do you think you're doing? The shadow, as you try to focus on what's in the corner of your eye, disappears. The end of the alley seems to be just like it was before. The howling is gone. The silhouette still stands on your side.
Turn to face it fully now. What do I think I'm doing? What were you doing?
Miles, it is of utmost importance that you listen to me right now. You have something that is mine. It is very crucial and very important that you leave this thing of mine here and never come back.
What thing?
This thing! And as he says it with the impact in his voice, with his voice growing louder, you can feel the marble in your pockets vibrating much, much stronger and trying to roll out of your pockets. Do you stop it?
Yes. What is this thing?
Christopher and Christopher sitting in a tree. The hunt will be on in 1, 2. Before the 3 sounds in the song, hands with no body attached to it, just hands reach from behind Christopher. Reach for his face, reach for his torso, reach for his body, and pull him back to the shadows as he tries to stop them from doing so. And he disappears. Suddenly, the light comes back. You are in the kitchen. Riot, suddenly the lights come back. You are in the library, and there are no vampires around. Goldie, suddenly the light come back. And suddenly you're back in the room where you talked to Elizabeth, but she's nowhere to be seen. Ripley, suddenly the lights come back. Grace is not there. The room that you've seen before is not there. Ripley, what you see is a little bit weird. The night is there already. If you have a flash, you do have a mobile phone on you, right? With the flashlight? Or...
Yes.
Okay. So, what you see in front of you is what looks like one uncluttered corner of the basement. There seems to be a mattress in there. A mattress, very old one, that just lies there like someone use it for sleeping. And you have to really use your flashlight on everything because there's no sign of moonlight coming into this basement. The windows, as you point at them, you see them on the walls, seem to be completely covered with what looks like tarp or some wooden boards. There's no one there, but it looks like someone could be using this for a place to sleep at. No way out through the windows. But maybe. Who knows?
Can I approach the mattress?
You definitely can.
Is there anything noticeable as they get closer?
It's just a mattress. There doesn't seem to be anything. There does seem to be a bit of depth in it. Like it was used by someone to lie on very often, and in the same exact space and position. So there is a sign of that on it, but there doesn't seem to be any personal items, smell, nothing really.
What if Ripley lifts the mattress? Anything beneath?
Beneath the mattress, actually behind the mattress, closer to the wall, you jump back a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe Ripley will be a person that would withstand this sight. But there's a corpse of a cat.
Does it look strange? And no, Ripley would not jump from the side of a dead animal.
He would not jump, of course. The cat's, the body seems to be stiff, seems to be weirdly, not withered, but weirdly thin. It's like the life was sucked away from it in some way. It's not your typical, still plump cat that has passed away. It seems to be shriveled in a way.
Does Ripley have any idea, given their background, on what this could be?
Possibly, yes. It seems like the cat has no blood.
Ripley is getting the fuck out of there.
You go back for the same way as you entered the basement. You, of course, probably make some ruckus in the way, make some sounds. All of you, slowly and surely, end up back in the corridor. As you hear the sounds of others, you're all here.
Goldie will immediately say, anyone see where Elizabeth went?
Thought she was with you.
Yeah, so did I, but something happened.
Oh, really? You too? That's great.
Do you guys got guns?
No.
No.
Fuck. This is a problem.
Why do we need guns?
You hear about that new show that just recently come out? It's on AMC Plus.
Are you setting me up for a
No,
joke?
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. No.
No. I don't know what AMC Plus is.
You don't know what Interview with the Vampire is?
Oh, you mean with Tom Cruise? Sure.
I mean, they're making a new one, but anyway. I
Downstairs.
don't wanna hear the V word.
This doesn't matter. Downstairs, there's a mattress. Somebody's sleeping on it. I found a cat. No blood. Windows taped off. And some other really fucked up shit.
Okay.
Yeah, Riot's already making their way that way. Like, no conversation after
Like-
that.
Oh, Goldie's like, oh, I'm not leaving. Elizabeth is gone. So she was here, and then I was in a boxing ring with marbles, and then I wake up or I come back to it, and she's gone.
Marbles.
Yeah, I saw something with marbles too.
Like this one. Christopher will hold up the marble.
Is that what we all saw?
Yes.
Outstar?
It is
Yeah.
exactly the same.
That'd be them.
Why do you have that?
Christopher will pocket it again. Wish I knew.
Okay, I understand that you're telling me that that you're telling me the vampires are real and that there's one in the basement. I understand that.
No,
from a
there isn't
logical
one in the
point of view.
basement. That is the problem. Ripley
Ah.
is obviously very nervous, a little freaked out.
Okay. I'm not leaving this house until I figure out where Elizabeth is. I'm gonna make that perfectly clear right now. So we very quickly sweep the house and look for her, or you can run. It's fine.
I'll help you. She's not in the basement.
Okay. Has anybody been upstairs?
No.
Did Riot actually like turn and leave?
Yes, as soon as that was mentioned, like any vampire hints to the basement.
So wait, you left, Riot left the basement.
Mhm.
And you tried to squeeze part of past the furniture to actually go to where Ripley found the lair?
I would like to, if possible.
Well, you are going to get yourself very dirty. But I assume you have your mobile phone on with with the flashlight, and you try to squeeze yourself past the furniture. Is anyone trying to stop Riot?
Yeah, I missed that Riot went down there. I wouldn't stop her, but I also wouldn't stand here. We need to stay together.
All right, so Riot, you march into the basement. Miles, you try to walk towards Riot, towards where Riot went. Ripley and Goldie, what do you do?
Ripley will run upstairs and take a look.
Yeah, Goldie will say, Christopher, please keep her here, and that Goldie will also run upstairs.
And as you all walk, or try to walk away from the corridor towards different directions, the lights in the room where you've talked to Elizabeth Everly yesterday, and where today Goldie spent plenty of time talking to Elizabeth Everly, light up. And you can hear footsteps coming towards you. In the doors leading to the corridor stands Elizabeth Everly, as you know her. What are you still doing here? It's too late now. It's so late. I want to go to sleep.
Goldie wants to do something drastic.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Goldie wants to take her out of the house.
Ripley will
Just
help.
forcefully take her out of the house.
Yes. That's why I said drastic. Because Goldie's in a very, like, probably along with everyone else in a bad frame of mind and is like, this house is dangerous, I'm not leaving her alone in this house.
So you go towards her, trying to lift her up. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, leave me alone.
I'll explain outside, Goldie will say, and she'll just, princess carry her. Princess pick her up.
And as you try to touch Elizabeth Everly, something happens. But what exactly we're going to dwell on the next session, as we're going to wrap it up right here. Thank you so much for joining me, and apologize for this little cliffhanger for a very good reason. we're going to meet in another week, next Saturday, for the next episode of Hunter Garage.